Oh, wait.
What?
Before you go on to the next phase of heaven, you get to ask one question about anything you want.
What do you mean?
You know, the nature of the universe, any question about your life in general, a friend's life.
This is like a big decision. What kind of questions do people ask?
Oh, you know, like how many steps you took through your whole life. I mean, I don't know, how many times you swore.
Oh.
Stuff like that. Or like, what's the meaning of life?
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let her rip.
Yeah.
Any question.
This might be dumb, but can I ask like about a song?
What do you mean?
Like I've had a song stuck in my head for a while and I have not been able to figure out what it is. Like,
yeah, I guess so. Couldn't you just like ask? You could. Okay.
Has anyone done that before?
No, actually.
Okay.
No, I was just thinking like you could have asked like, I don't know, ChatGPT or Google when you were alive, but
I tried.
And away we go. Hi, everybody. My name's Mitchell.
I'm Brad.
This is Real World Recovery, your one-stop shop for bizarre TikToks being sent to us.
And neither of us have TikTok.
I know. Well, good for her for like figuring out a way that we could watch it and watch it together.
Yeah, that's true.
So now that you've seen it, she thinks you're the one that looks like you and I'm the blonde one.
Oh.
Did you think it was the other way? Because
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I was like, she's like, even the mannerisms. And I'm like, well, I guess.
I mean, no, I mean, I could see it.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know if I feel called out by it or like, I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
I feel like the glaring inaccuracy of the whole thing would have been, you would have been like, no, I definitely wouldn't have known a TV show
Right.
song. Like as soon as you know, it was like, oh, I think I saw it on a TV show, you would have been like, well, then I wouldn't have known it.
There's no way I'll know it.
Well, because I don't watch TV.
Yeah. And I would have looked right at the camera when I said it. I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll let her know that you appreciated it.
Yeah.
I told her I appreciated it. I just didn't I didn't know how to I don't know, like it felt like when it was being presented to me that she was expecting a certain reaction. And I don't know that like that was I didn't know what my reaction was supposed to be, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, no, it was good.
Anyway. Welcome to the madhouse.
I mean, you know, it's not up there with like, what are the shows that Brad watches?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Will and Grace.
They're that important to me. I like how the other day.
I love that we can just continuously dig on him because we know he doesn't watch this show.
He's like, oh, I fell asleep. I took a nap. I thought, you know, since Mitchell said he had to do homework. And everybody, like, you and Matt were very clear that you were still gonna do the thing with the stuff.
Like, how many times
like,
have we gotten together anyway when one out of the four of us haven't been able to?
Yeah, I mean, we've even done it without him when I could do it. You know, so it's, you know,
but
whatever.
But yeah, like I was saying, I like that we can continuously like dig on him because we know for a fact that he does not watch this.
I'm gonna insert the Rick Sanchez meme right here.
Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
There's only one.
I mean, the one about. Never mind. Never mind.
God damn! Thanks, noob. This guy gets.
Because doesn't he do? Isn't he also in Away We Go?
Yeah, that is. It's from the episode where he breaks the time continuum.
Right.
Yeah, and it splits into a bunch of different universes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. Yeah. Good eye there. Good catch. How many of you caught that? Tell us down below in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll link that video, or I'll get the link for that video so that you guys can watch it and tell us what you think. See if you think that I'm the angel and Brett is the bearded guy who just got to heaven. Because I mean, it's entertaining, but again, I don't want to post somebody else's copyrighted material,
Sure.
in our podcast.
Yeah.
It feels like,
No. Linking to it though.
yeah, linking to it's fine.
Yeah. Let them get those precious clicks.
Delicious clicks. Speaking of clicks, so I was complaining to you moments ago about Epic Games ruining the AFK video games that I like to play. Mm-hmm. So I definitely did not, because it goes against the terms of service, download an auto clicker, and definitely am not using that on my PC so that I can still AFK my game.
That's smart. Don't do that.
Yes, you definitely should not use an auto clicker.
Don't do anything that would break the terms of service.
No, definitely not.
Especially not on free-to-play games.
No. Well, when you have as much invested into the game as I do. Woof. But, let's be real. Epic can't even keep cheaters out of pubs, so they can't even keep them out of the tournaments that they're paying these guys thousands of dollars to play. So, I'm not worried about a stupid tycoon game. Anyway, I feel better that I bitched about that one last time. Thanks for that.
Good. I'm glad.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of things that you probably want to vent about, how's your ceiling?
It's not 100%. That's for sure.
Why don't you tell the fine people what happened?
Well, turns out that it is not waterproof. Yeah.
Yeah, drywall does not hold water very well.
No.
It will to a point, but then not so much.
Yep. So, but yeah, so that's been fun, having a constant drip.
Mm-hmm. The old Chinese water torture.
And it absolutely is for me.
Yeah.
I am easily woken. Yeah, I have. I don't know why, like, random, like, especially like steady noise like that, like, like that steady dripping sound, like it just.
So back when clocks still ticked, did that? I can't do ticking clocks.
Yeah, that'll get me. Like the ambient noise, like outside, like traffic and things like that doesn't bother me, but it's that steady, like, repeated noise. I just it's like I can't. It's just like,
yeah,
it just wakes me right back. Like I just cannot.
Is it like your brain is syncing up with it? Do you know what I mean?
I don't. Yeah, it's something. It just like.
Because I sleep with a fan on, but I'm like the same way. Even if it's a mechanical noise, like
like I'll like can't. Zero in on it, and I get like fixated on it, and it makes it very difficult to sleep. So I've not gotten very good sleep the last several days because of it, but it's fine. It's taken care of at this point, so now it's just a matter of everything getting dried out enough that they'll be able to come in and actually get everything replaced and fixed.
So now tomorrow morning, do you get to sleep in?
God, no. No.
Are you gonna go to bed early tonight?
My whole weekend is busy, so because we've got the quarterly breakfast for my home group this weekend.
I thought that was Sunday.
It's Sunday, but there's stuff that I've got to do all weekend. I'm the treasurer, so all the preparations and everything to make sure everything's ready and all of that stuff. And so
ain't service we're grand. You know what I'm doing tomorrow? Going to clean out the house that closed.
Yeah.
Because, of course, none of the people who are responsible for it closing could be asked to Yep. Clean up their mess.
Yep. So I'm guessing that one guy talking to the landlord, that didn't go so well.
Who knows? That is not my problem.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Them keeping that house, probably not.
well, because remember he was gonna be like, "Oh, I'll talk to Lou."
I do. I very much. And on the off chance that for some reason any of them slide through tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, when they will invariably have something smart mouth to say. I'm gonna be like, so were you smarter than everybody else again?
Yeah.
Did it work out for you being the smartest guy in the room again? Did it work out this time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but
it's not my livelihood that got upended. I just hate to see the beds that are desperately needed in this community get taken away because,
yeah.
because a couple of people got together and knew better than the program.
Yep.
You see it time and time again.
That's true.
It is what it is.
That's true. But, sometimes that's the way it's got to go to,
Fresh start.
have things change, and,
Yeah.
as anybody who takes a long view of history has the ability to see time and time again, the trash almost always takes itself out. It just has a way of figuring itself out. Like, there's it can't, find an equilibrium when when things,
When the one side of the scale is pushed so very hard, it doesn't want to come back because the beam doesn't want to
the
balance.
selfish and the that kind of behavior, the malicious or selfish or self-righteous or indignant or any
All
of those,
the above.
all of that type of behavior, or even if you go further to the extreme, the narcissistic and evil and all of those things, right? It just can't find an equilibrium, so it doesn't exist for very long, right? And even the ones that last for a while, in the grand scheme of things, aren't actually for very long.
Yeah.
And they have a way of like consuming themselves and toppling and like imploding. And so it's like
I watched a really compelling YouTube video last night. Imagine that. I watched a YouTube video. Can you imagine? Yeah. Anyway, this dude was laying out the argument that the United States has always been about 12 different countries. And he even like kind of drew it out in the way that like it makes so much sense. Like we're with the people of like New England basically, but if you look at the white Puritan whatever movement across the northern part of the country, yeah, we all kind of share dialect. We all share similar like neighborly attitudes. Obviously New York City and New Jersey are separate from it, and like southern Pennsylvania, and I would like to think Ohio, but unfortunately, there's whatever. Fucking Ohio. Anyway, he's just breaking it down by like how the regions behave, like how they vote, like what the value identities are, and it was really, really interesting, and it makes a lot of sense when it's kind of presented in this fashion of like how it evolved this way. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so I was like, that's kind of neat. It made a lot of things like make some sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Like where I was like, huh. like how South Florida isn't anything like Northern Florida. North Florida is basically part of the Deep South. But then you have like New Orleans, which he called like that area of Louisiana, New France, because it's like completely different than the rest of the South that's around it.
Yeah.
And then South Florida is all Spanish-speaking Caribbean people.
And retirees that
Well,
that
you know,
moved,
but
yeah.
they don't really count because they're
Right,
they're gonna
but-
die soon.
But I mean, yeah,
But you know, yeah. So it was like, you know, and then how basically just the West Coast up to like the Sierra Nevadas is basically completely separated from everything that's from the deserts into the mountains down into Texas. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, yeah, that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. And like how basically like all the way up into Colorado, the very southern border is like basically North Mexico.
yeah,
Because I mean, those are all, you know, because it was Mexico for a very long time.
yeah,
A lot longer than it's been the United States. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It was kind of cool. It was like a little history lesson, and it was kind of like a look at like is that what I'm thinking of? Anthropological. Like the background of like why the different areas of the United States behave differently. So yeah, it's kind of neat.
nice.
Yeah, Hawaii gets to be its own nation because it already is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it literally was its own kingdom.
I mean, quite literally.
Yeah. Yep.
But you know, sugar and pineapples.
Yeah. Well, and having an area to have a base, a military base, was a strategic military
Yeah.
outpost.
Well, it is the only island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Well, chain of islands. Yeah.
Yeah, the only landmass big enough to support military operations, really.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, besides getting closer to China.
Right.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah, that was cool.
nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff's always fascinating to take that zoomed out and then
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the history of how it all kind of got to be this way.
well,
and
and I mean even just the history of the United States is something that a lot of folks don't
no, at all.
well, but like don't take the time to like even zoom out that much to try to process from like a holistic kind of approach.
Yeah.
But even that is just a drop in the bucket. You know,
Oh, sure.
like we're a baby country, you know, we like comparatively, like the US really has barely got our sea legs, you know, and so it's always interesting when you then take, okay, in the amount of time that the United States has actually had a constitution that's been ratified, and then, you know, the multiples of that many years that some of these other countries have been established and,
Right.
you know, had working governments and it had alliances with other countries that have had working government, you know, and looking at geopolitics, you know, throughout Europe and Asia and all of that. And then it's like, okay, yeah, so we're new to the party. So it's just always interesting to you know, any kind of like insights on you know, how all of that has progressed and stuff like that. But yeah, even just taking a look just at our little pocket of the world and how just because we're so big as far as like how much space we take up for one country.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
know.
comparatively, like you really size-wise can only compare Russia, China, and Australia.
yeah.
The 4 biggest countries on the face of the planet.
I mean, a lot of our bigger states are like
Bigger than a lot of European countries.
yeah.
Well, I mean, Wisconsin is bigger than a number of European countries. Like,
Well,
by
I mean, I
area.
told you about that. I told you about that one thing that I saw that was like, just how big is Texas?
Yeah.
Most people don't realize how big Texas is compared to, say, California, shown here in its actual size. Look how small New York State is. And if you're surprised the entire UK fits easily inside Texas, it just shows you how much map projections distort Texas. Here's Russia, which if you live in Austin or Houston, you could probably see from your backyard. Good old Canada, fit that in the corner right there. At this point, it shouldn't surprise you that we can just actually fit the entire mainland US here. That looks good. The question is, can you fit something like, I don't know, the planet Saturn? And you're probably thinking there's no way it's going to fit. And you're right, it's not going to fit. That's because we just kind of need to take it in and angle it just, okay. There we go. And finally, I have to ask the question you've all probably been thinking, which is, can you fit Texas inside of Texas? Let's see. No, but it's close though.
here's a fun little tangent about Texas. When I went down there in I think '98, I drove my car there and I was headed to McAllen, which is down in the valley, and I get to Texarkana and I pull off into this truck stop because I hit the Texas state line, and I get on the payphone because it was 1998. And I call my buddy and I'm like, hey man, I'm finally in Texas. And he's like, all right, I'll see you in like 12, 15 hours. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He was not lying.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't even get to the desert for 10 hours.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I remember getting pulled over in San Antonio. And there's nowhere to pull over. It's 4 lanes wide and it is bumper to bumper.
Oof.
And I'm getting pulled over because I'm a teenager in a car with Michigan plates on it in South Texas, in San Antonio. And he wanted to know what I was doing there, which fair, I guess. Sure. But I tried to like pull off on the side of the freeway, and he gets on the little thing and he's like, you need to get off the freeway, son. And so I get off the freeway and then I pull over on the side street because, it's got all the frontage roads there. So I get off pull over on the frontage road. He's like, son, you need to pull into the gas station. And I'm like, okay. And so I pull into the gas station. I pull up to a pump. He's like, son, park your ass in a spot. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. So I pull into the spot and he's like, what the hell they teach you up north? I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I don't know, man. They teach you if the lights come on, you pull the fuck over. You don't find a spot, dude. That's how you get beat up.
They don't spend a day teaching you how to get pulled over. Right. I'll tell you that much.
They sure don't.
Like
oh my God. Well, and like, I don't care where you are in the north, man. Those lights come on, you pull the fuck over.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's probably how it works in the South now, but the 90s were a different time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The 90s were definitely a different time.
They were definitely a different time.
They were 100% a different time because, that was...
Well, I would like drive my car across the border, like no big deal, no passport, just my like Michigan driver's license.
Didn't need one.
Yeah, I mean, just my good old Michigan driver's license, Michigan plates on my car, driving around in Mexico.
Yeah, you literally didn't
try doing that nowadays.
Yeah.
I think especially coming back across the border. Can you imagine? Woo!
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. 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 They were different times.
Yeah. Here we are, all old and sober.
Yep. Happy to be both.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly,
kinda.
I was talking with some coworkers. I was like, to be quite honest, I'm pretty sure that like I literally won the lottery as far as like when I was born, because like I was born at the end of 1980, so like I got to grow up before cell phones and before the internet. Like I didn't have either until I was like coming up to adulthood. So like,
yeah, I think like, we had usable internet around like 1996, 97.
Yeah, like we had dial-up.
Yeah.
But
the
the point is, I'm like, I didn't have the ability to document any of my terrible decisions on social media at all.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
like I couldn't have.
I wonder if Midwest Raver is still a website.
And so like by the time that I could, I was old enough to be like, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean Facebook.
Like
I was an early adopter of Facebook. But
like I had a MySpace,
but-
I had GeoCities and
yeah,
stuff
I had a
like
MySpace
that.
too.
But like,
it had the Nine Inch Nails logo.
yeah, but like I was in high school.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
or middle at the very earliest, it was at least like late middle school, if not early high school.
Yeah,
and it was like
mid high school.
I was at
junior
least
year.
like old enough to like be able to process, like, because I grew up without it,
right.
that I was like, do I want this?
Yeah.
And I didn't have a smartphone that could take video. I didn't have a smartphone that could take pictures. So like I would have had to have had a digital camera with me,
Man.
which I never did. And so like the ability to document,
I don't think I had a camera that could take, or a phone that could take pictures until I was like 21 or 22.
yeah,
I don't, because they didn't exist.
they
before
didn't
then.
exist before then.
Right. Yeah.
The Sanyo 8100 was the first like flip phone with a camera in it. I remember because I was selling them at Radio Shack.
Oh yeah. Oh, Radio Shack. You were too good for this world.
That thing was like that was the badass.
Dude, you could build such
And then-
baller car stereos out of
And then it
Radio
was like
Shack.
the 80, and then there was like the Sanyo 8350 or something like that was the flip phone that had like the front facing screen or something like that. So yeah,
The Nokia, I think it was a 4211. It was the silver brick flip, and that was the first one that I had that had a camera, but it was a really terrible camera.
oh they were all
And
yeah
it had
terrible.
it had the color screen on it, and it was metal. It was a great phone for its day.
And they were like, $300-$400
Yeah.
for those things.
Well,
man.
my
And they
girlfriend
flew
at the
off
time
shelves.
worked for Centennial Wireless, so
Yeah, they flew off the shelves, man.
I may have gotten a deal.
But like, yeah, everybody loved those, and that's when it was like, oh, we can.
Well, but even then, we didn't have the internet to post that shit. Like, it was still
Right.
slow. Like,
Right.
it wasn't like, what was it? Anybody's fastest connection in 2005?
Oh, cool. We got.
Today we're going to do a drop test with our Corral dinner plate and a standard porcelain dinner plate. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Should I text her?
No. We'll just have dishes in the background.
I mean, it's not any worse than the cats.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. I'll make a short about it.
Oh, we're going back to shorts?
I mean, I would love to. Okay, so you know what happened today? I did my last math homework for the semester, and I did what I believe is my last Spanish homework for the semester. I have no more homework left for psychology, and the only thing that I have to accomplish from my desk at home is putting together my English portfolio. So, yeah.
Sweet, man.
Not
That's
only
a good feeling.
on this weekend that you are super busy will I have time to edit this, I might even be able to put more memes in it than usual.
What?
Yeah, I know. Visual memes, guys, not just like showing you a meme on the screen.
Love to
Visuals.
see it.
More of the
Goddamn right.
Love to see it.
yeah. Well, I've had all these great ideas, but like realistically coming to terms with the fact that like you and a number of other people are probably right about, me basically like stressing myself into the hospital. It was really kind of important the last like week and a half here, 2 weeks, to not put myself in a position where like I know how dangerously close to burnout I am right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's only 2 weeks to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Next week is a bunch of like busy work and one round of tests, and then it's finals.
Man.
So it's like there was no reason to like push myself to spend 8 hours editing when I need to spend 8 hours on homework.
Yeah.
You know, like my edits have been clean the past few times, but like to spend another 2-3 hours, 4 hours going through and creating, 5-6 shorts that's too much.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, when it's like goes from being something that's enjoyable to something that's stressful or whatever, like that, then it's crossing a line.
Yeah.
And that's the not a line that it's
well,
not.
I
it's,
think,
and
I think like I don't remember that we've explicitly had a conversation about this, but I feel like you and I both recognized how hard we're pushing ourselves.
Yeah.
And how unimportant it is for us to push ourselves.
Yeah.
The people that watch it and they enjoy it clearly.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Like trying to become some sort of like content creator in YouTube Shorts is like such a sum zero game anyway.
Yeah.
That it's like believe me, I have ideas.
Yeah.
If I get a whole week where I don't
Well, and I guess
have to do anything.
Part of what I'm
gonna go back through a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna edit a best of reel.
Yeah, and
You know
part
what
of
I mean?
part of why I was bringing up what I brought up before we started taping was that early on when we were talking about doing this, before we even really started doing this, was like one of the ideas was like this could potentially become more than just me and you.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see that become more of a community project.
That would be fantastic.
And if there's people that are like, I'd really like to learn how to do this. I'm interested in doing fill in the blank, whatever piece it is, or start to finish. I want to learn the whole thing. I want to do all of it. Great. Like, let's figure out how we can help make that happen, and then who knows? Like, it doesn't have to just be me and you sitting here talking every single time, it doesn't just have to be one episode a week. Like, there could be me and you have our episode. There could be a different episode that's, somebody else's thing on a different night, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Who knows?
You're kind of already doing the Financial Fridays thing, which
I mean, I was. I know that I'm working. I haven't been, but
Yeah.
like, who knows? That could be a thing that I resurrect. Like when it makes more sense, or when I figure out my schedule a little bit better. But right now,
yeah.
and it goes back to the same thing where it's like, it needs to take a back seat until I figure out my schedule.
And I think that's a lesson for a lot of people in recovery, is like we have a tendency to overcommit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, I was trying to kind of say that in a roundabout way last night when I was talking about service work, because, it's important. Like, I need, chairing that meeting is like kind of everything to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all good and fine. Oxford, my commitment to Oxford has changed my life. That's all good and fine. But like losing yourself over it.
Yeah.
Like the one girl mentioned the girl who wanted to come with her or whatever. And in my mind, I had already accepted that the other girl had relapsed, because I mean, there's no reason to disappear unless you feel shame about it, at least in the, what I mean. Well, I've been around the program long enough where if somebody just stops communicating and stops showing up, they've went back to old ways. And, I think it was important for them to hear that it's okay to say no. Like, if you don't feel like making coffee this week, don't fucking make coffee this week. If you don't feel like being a greeter, don't fucking be a greeter.
Right.
If you don't feel like you could be a treasurer, then don't volunteer to be a treasurer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
or even if it's like, this week, I don't have the bandwidth for it.
Yeah. Just be honest and say you
Yes.
don't.
That's
what I mean?
That I guess is what my point is it's like, don't feel like, well, just be, I took on this commitment, I have to. It's like,
right. And don't internalize it.
right. It's important to be like, look, I know I took on this commitment, but like right now I'm just, stretched too thin. Can you help me out? Mm-hmm.
Well, look at the way we do editing.
Right. And it works.
It does.
And I'm glad for it, because I think that had we not early on been like, look, like
had the conversation about
if we wouldn't have just been like, look, I think if we aren't trying to like
share this responsibility a bit, split it up,
like it's gonna get to the point where one of us is
gonna
like,
resent the shit out of it.
or just like it's gonna be too much,
right,
for one person.
I mean, if I was independently wealthy, which I'm not,
nor am I.
I didn't know if you knew this about me. Way to turn off your phone to silent, Mitchell. So I would every week I would spend 10 hours on this, making it some sort of fun and wacky thing to like express my creativity, but also to get rid of all of the weird artistic impulse that I have. You know what I mean? Which I haven't painted in forever now, even because I don't have the bandwidth for it. Like, by the time I get done with stuff, I just want to play my stupid AFK game. Yeah. And look at Facebook.
Well, but like I know that's like, that fills your cup up more than it does mine. Mm-hmm. And it's, I find it interesting, but more from a learning the software and understanding like how to do it and like add to a skill set perspective, not from a creative outlet. But
I mean, the older that I get, the more I realize that almost everything that I've ever done in my life was trying to release some sort of creative frustration. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like DJing, like ending up a painter, professional painter. Like, what, like, is that, was it that it was easy? Sure. But like, I was good at it in ways that not a lot of people are. Like, I'm very good at blending colors. I'm very good at matching colors. I'm very good at like creating a color scheme. These are not skills that everybody who knows how to paint have. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I've spent much of my life around paint, blending, making color. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. And it's one of those things that has just never really occurred to me. Yep. Yeah, I feel you remember my like little existential crisis maybe about a year ago where I was like, am I an artist?
Yeah. I do remember.
I was like asking everybody, like, do you think I'm an artist?
I do remember that.
And like a lot of people were just like, duh. Yeah. Like, what? Are you dumb? And I'm like,
but I
guess
that goes to what I was talking about a bit last night, where it was like, circling back on like how to do service. It's like, you don't have to like be a carbon copy of what somebody else is doing. Like, because we all find, like, we're all drawn to different things. We all find different things to be satisfying, fulfilling, or like,
exciting,
or we all have different skill sets. We all find different things rewarding, whatever. And, like, for me, it's not that at all. For me, though, mine is like finding ways to bring order to things, to build systems, to, you know, like get things organized, automated,
Brett loves building systems so
I do.
much.
I do. And which
That's
is why
that's his artistic expression.
which is why I'm excelling in this job. Even though I feel like I am not doing very much work. It feels like I'm not doing much. But it's because a lot of what I'm doing is actually thinking through
The processes.
everything multiple times. So
I
like
still don't know where that room is.
it's B2279.
Yeah, I keep looking and I don't know.
So, but yeah, I believe in you.
Do you?
Yeah. but like it's and I had this conversation with the director of the department. I was like, you know, a lot of it is not having to redo things. Like, I don't like to have to like move something just to have to move it again, you know? And so like a lot of it is, okay, let me think this through and then let me just go double check this and, you know, making a plan, double checking it, thinking something through, rethinking it. What about this? And then actually doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite phrases that I heard a long time ago that pertains is, too often we mistake motion for progress. and it's true.
The American way.
But it's true. So often, like, people will feel like they just have to look busy, you know?
Well, I mean, that's how our culture works here in the United States.
But it oftentimes creates more work for us.
I mean, it does. Well, not only that, is like, there's like, what is, I watched, believe it or not, I watched a YouTube video on like fake productivity. And while I'm watching it, like, all I could think of is our last job together. Is like, it's literally an entire building of people who are pretending to work.
Yeah.
And like, where is, like, why have we decided that this is where we're at as a society?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to require somebody to go to college and get a degree, maybe even a master's degree in business, so that they can sit in a cubicle in a building that you're paying way too much for, who is only going to work for 2.5 hours a day. And the rest of their day is spent not doing, like, literally anything. I mean, at least when we were working from home, like, it was obvious to us that we were only working 2.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We didn't have to pretend. There was no charade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank God for analog watches.
You know, and I tried to help people I know.
Tell me that's not the best hack you've ever heard. Like,
so good. and I'm just like, I'm like watching this video and I'm like getting frustrated because, like, that is not where we worked, was not an isolated thing. That's
the
worldwide.
norm.
That's nationwide.
Yeah.
People are like, well, I don't understand how they can have a 25-hour work week in France. Do we need more than 25 hours to get our week's worth work done here in the United States? No, absolutely not.
25 hours at that last job, I'd still have probably 10 hours of downtime.
Oh, dude, like, if I would have went any harder at that job, they would have stopped trying to pay us way sooner than they did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you and I going 100%.
Yeah.
Within a month, they would have rethought our bonus structure.
Oh, 100, yeah. I mean, I would, like, if I felt like I was behind, I would go 100% for like 4 hours on a Sunday. And then I'd be like, oh, I guess I'm taking tomorrow off.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
Yeah, you come in Monday morning and it's just like, oh, there's $500 in bonus.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yep.
That number's too big.
Yep. Big number go up too much.
Yeah.
Stonks.
And that's another thing that's weird, okay? Like, because they want infinite growth, which is completely unsustainable, we've reached the spot where the curve can't really go up more than it's already... Do you know what I mean? From a productivity standpoint.
I mean...
Infinite growth in a finite system is not a possibility.
The problem is that they haven't changed how they measure productivity since factories.
Well, we're bringing the factories back, don't you know?
But they've maintained that mentality.
Yeah, where
of
if
factory output and brought it into the office setting.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Like that's the disconnect.
At all.
That's the they've taken widgets per minute.
Yeah.
How many times can you pull this lever?
Yeah.
And brought it to thought work.
Well, and
it doesn't translate.
From the perspective of our job and our bonus structure, like the target. No, you and I we're never gonna have a problem hitting those targets.
No,
like at all. But like it was unrealistic for us to go much past that, because what are they going to do if we go past that? It becomes the new expectation.
Well, the thing
and
is,
where
though,
it was like if you had a bad week, all of a sudden you were screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah, so I'm very happy that, like, in this new role, like...
Do you know what that is? That is the 8 p.m. Friday alarm. Do you know what that's for? It's a reminder for me to check and see that while I'm editing the podcast, that it's in 30 FPS. That's 100% what that alarm is
nice.
For. Yeah. Is it, Mitchell? This is editing, Mitchell. Just so you know, Mitchell. Yes, it's in 30 FPS. Thanks for checking in.
Very nice.
That's 100%. You were like, just set an alarm.
Yeah.
And I have not turned that alarm off, even though I've not been editing on Fridays. So.
Well.
Yeah.
That's good though.
I mean, it was your idea.
Yeah. No, I love having those kind of alarms, man. Like little reminders.
Yeah. I can probably change it to Saturday. Well, now I've got a note though.
Yeah.
So I'm personally a fan of sticky notes. I have sticky notes all over my apartment reminding me to do things that normal people would probably remember to do, but I will not. And so, like, underneath the monitor that I track OSB off of when I'm streaming, it says hit record.
You could
because I have more than 3 times not hit and record and not recorded a stream.
You could make a simple, like, script or a batch file that when you launch Caden, it pops open sticky notes or notepad or something with that message.
I identified what the problem is if you're not paying attention and you drop, like, when you're like inserting memes, or if you're inserting like whatever, you know,
it asks, do you want to change
it
the rest
asks
of
if
the
you want
stuff
to
to match
change it
this?
to match this. If you are not paying attention, you will change it all to
God knows what.
To whatever whatever I had OBS set to, which is weird because I'm pretty
God
sure that's
knows
set to 30 FPS too. But I mean, I steal I borrow a lot of stuff off of YouTube.
It could be formatted for TV format, which is 29.97.
Yeah, which is, I guess, yeah, sure.
That's NTSC or PAL, I think is 29.97.
Yeah. I mean,
standard TV.
I don't know that I can tell the difference between 30 FPS. Now, when I'm playing Fortnite, for instance...
Well, you wouldn't be able to tell visually. It will mess up the audio. You'll get, like, remnant. You'll get, like, artifacts, and sometimes it'll, like, give you like a hum. Because the audio is still trying to play at 30 frames per second. And then that artifact, it'll over time, as it's rendering, it'll
build. Yeah.
It just gets louder and louder and louder.
Well, it's an exponential oscillation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it's called, but yeah.
I mean, that's what it's doing. It's like
Yeah.
1 bit out of sync, and
Yeah.
then it's 2 bits, and then it's 4 bits, and then it's 8, and then
Yep.
But it starts out like very tiny wave, and it becomes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I've noticed with it. So.
You would have that back when you were recording on 4 tracks. If you
4chan?
4 tracks.
We talked about 4chan a couple episodes.
If you had a motor in one of the decks that was bad,
oh yeah,
and it would record just a little bit slower than the others.
Sure.
Yeah, before we had computers to do all that.
Yep.
You were recording crappy punk bands in somebody's bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, high school was wild.
Yeah. Sure was. It
was so weird. Like in the community that I was in Michigan when I first moved over there. I mean, at that point I was already like a happy hardcore raver, right? And there weren't any of those in that community because what is a raver? This is 1997,
right? We're into grunge.
Well, I mean, the punk kids were the only kids who would talk to me, really.
Yeah,
and that's probably because of how big my pants were.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like I'm all wearing like candy and neon, and I'm hanging out with the kids who are wearing like shitty torn up black and leather coats and stuff, and I'm like, it's so weird.
You know.
I didn't turn the alarm off. I just silenced it. Oh my god. The alarm's so nice I get embarrassed twice.
That's fine.
There we go. We'll just turn that off.
That's fine.
It'll be okay. Well, I'll you know what I'll do is
there aren't any rules.
I'll edit out that and just more dishes.
Throw Toasty's meow in there too.
Oh my god, may as well.
We still have that's
all
of the sound effects still live.
They do. They live on my machine.
They live on in the shared drive, I think. I think because they're all so small.
I try to put every time I come up with a new one, I try to put it in there. I still have like these 2 clips that I want to turn into GIFs. One is of me being, I don't know what the word is, like you know the meme where the guy's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, but it's like my version of that where you say something so out of pocket and my hair is down and I'm just like, you know what I mean? And I want to turn that into a GIF where I'm just like, and then there's one of you where you're just like,
yeah.
I want those to be GIFs for not only our Discord, but other people's Discords.
I mean,
hell, even a Twitch emote.
Sure.
We can live on that way forever in the hearts of millions of Twitch subscribers.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Like,
but that's the kind of weird thing that I think about, and then when I'm sitting at the machine and as soon as I hit render, I'm like, I don't want to spend another 20 minutes doing that. I mean, how long could it possibly take?
I thought you were going to say render. I hardly know her.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Okay.
No. I mean, sure if you want. Russ has never seen Spaceballs. I know. The man, well, I mean, to be fair, I had never seen Black Dynamite. So, I mean, maybe that's fair, but not really.
No.
I feel like that's not a fair comparison.
No, they're not.
You know?
It would be a fair comparison if you would have said something like, I'd never seen, like, Shaolin Soccer or Kung Fu Hustle. Yeah. You know, like one of those. Like
Kung Fu Hustle is such a
those are
it's a good movie.
those are on par with like
Sure.
a Spaceballs level, you know, silly,
Yeah.
you know, kind of movie. But I mean, Black Dynamite was good,
Right, but it is more niche.
but I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it on.
I mean,
the,
Kung Fu Hustle's a
But,
little
like,
niche.
I would say Blazing Saddles is like Black Dynamite.
I mean, how could you have not seen Blazing Saddles either? How about, okay, maybe a better comparison is History of the World Part 2. Or is it Part 1?
There was only part 2.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was part of the.
Yeah, part of the joke. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money.
They almost got that to go.
I've heard that rumor for 20 years now, so...
It almost got greenlit. Like they literally like.
Well, the whole
like-
thing
like
was
last
that,
year.
like the whole thing. If you listen to Mel Brooks talk about it, the whole thing was like he wasn't going to do it without Rick Moranis, and Rick Moranis wasn't going to do movies until his kids were a certain age, and his kids are just now getting to be that age.
Yeah, they almost got it. They almost got it greenlit last year.
Which good for Rick Moranis for doing that, man.
Yeah.
Like seriously, being like, nah, man, my wife, did she die or just get super sick?
It was something like that.
Something
yeah.
horrible happened. And he's like, no, I'm like, and he was like one of the highest paid, most famous people in movies
Yeah,
at the
he
time.
was at his prime.
And he's just like, no, I've got enough money. I'm gonna live my life with my kids, dude.
Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Good for him.
that was
Yeah.
bringing it all the way back to earlier. Mm-hmm. Being able to say, look, this is
Right.
I gotta pump the brakes on this thing because this is the thing I
I
gotta
can't
focus
make
on.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids 4 because
But,
I
like,
need to take care of my kids.
I can't take this commitment
Yeah.
because this one is more important.
Yeah, man.
Like being able to prioritize that.
Anyway, so we've been watching Firefly on Monday, which again, excellent show.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mad that he hadn't seen Serenity or Firefly. Again, a little more on this obscure side, unless you're our age, right? Russ is like 28.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's young. So like,
Huh.
maybe he's 30. I don't think he's 30 yet. I think he's like 28.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's young. Maybe not. But every time he says it, I'm always like, "What? No!" And then he's like,
I thought he was a little older than that. I knew we were older than him, but I
Yeah.
thought he was a little older than that at least.
"Yeah." Anyway, maybe he's 30. It's somewhere in there. It's somewhere between 28 and 32. So I'm thinking Monday instead of us watching, because we're on disc 4 for Firefly, so we're almost there, almost to the point where we can watch Serenity.
Yep.
Because you can't watch Serenity first, it ruins
No.
it. But you can watch. I keep explaining to people you can watch Serenity without having watched Firefly, but it's better if you have watched Firefly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you understand the group
Yeah.
dynamics better.
Yeah, you need to get so far in before Picard comes in.
Yes. Indeed.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. So anyway, I'm thinking that since I own 2 copies of Spaceballs,
Brad would hate that joke.
he would too.
He would literally steam would come out of
Yeah,
his ears.
but-
He'd be fuming so much.
But you know what, Brad?
May the 4th be with you.
The entire new season of
That's
Fortnite.
that's
is
when this
Star Wars.
episode will air. So that's why.
Oh, it will.
Yeah.
Now I know how I'm ending it.
Yeah. Happy space trek day.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Brad. Look at the big brains on Brad.
Nanu.
But he doesn't get that joke either. So anyway, I'm gonna just show up with Spaceballs.
Yes.
I'm gonna be like, so I know.
Son of a bitch shot my hair.
Well, because we were talking about moving heavy stuff. We're watching Firefly.
Her Royal
And he-
Highness's matched luggage.
And he's lifting something and dragging it across the room, and I'm like, "What's in this thing? What the hell is this?" And he's just looking at me blankly, and Liz is smiling ear to ear, and I'm like, if you want this thing, Russ, You carry it. And Liz is like,
Royal Highnesses, much luggage.
Liz is like ready to fall over laughing, and Russ is like, I don't get it. And I'm like, it's my industrial size hot air machine, and I can't live without it.
You guys been finished combing the desert?
And he's just
we
like,
ain't found shit.
Yeah, and then I said that, and he's like, what is going on here? He's like, are you having a stroke? And I'm like, have you not seen Spaceballs? How? What? He's like, no, I've never seen Spaceballs. And I'm like, Spaceballs actually queued up in his machine when I thought I still owned Human Traffic. And so it was like literally in his DVD player, and we could have like, and he didn't mention it then. And now I'm just gonna be like,
you idiots! You found their stunt doubles.
oh man,
just so many.
She's gone from suck to blow.
Mega Maid, sir.
Anyway.
Only one man would dare give me the raspberry.
Which in itself is such an obscure joke. Like, how many people think like as a raspberry nowadays? Like, no one. Like, maybe that joke was funny in the 70s, but like even in the mid 80s or the early 90s when Spaceballs came out.
I'm having problems with the radar, sir. What? I'm having problems with the radar, sir.
Now this has turned into us quoting Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
for the 12-year-olds out there that
I knew I was surrounded by assholes.
How many people on here are assholes? Yo!
How many assholes we got on this ship? Yeah. Anyway.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not Radar, sir. It's Mr. Coffee. And then it's Mr. Radar.
When will then be now?
Soon. Oh, fuck. I might have to edit that down.
Yep.
Maybe.
Whatever.
We'll see what
or
happens.
Just,
Maybe I'll just show as much of the movie as I can get away with before.
Do you really think Mel Brooks is going to give a shit?
I would let. I'm less worried about Mel Brooks and movie studios.
I don't know. We could probably just send Mel Brooks an email and be like, hey, can we, like, play a couple of clips of your movie?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe.
If we get permission.
I don't really know.
Right? I don't know. I don't know how that shit works.
I mean, I know how it works.
It's not like we're monetized.
I know how it works for music. I'm not monetized for music, and I get copyright strikes all the time.
Oh.
But so how it works for music is you'll be playing a song, and then it will say when you're done uploading and they're checking for copyright, it'll be like, this is copyright control, and it won't even tell you, like, it will tell you what the song is. It knows what song it is, and it will tell you what label it is and this strike. And so instead of giving you like a proper strike, like take it down, it will just blanket. So you'll be like in the middle of your set, it will just be like 5 minutes of quiet. Do you know what I mean? Which, sure. I will never understand, like, if it's like hip hop or top 40, fine, I get it, I guess. Like, you know, like giant record labels. But if you're mixing like obscure, you know, techno, why?
What if
like, don't you want your music to be heard? Like, there's only 10 of us in the world who are buying this shit anyway.
What if it's just like, what if it's not the audio from the video clip and you just keep our voices?
Do the video and it's our voices.
And it's just us dubbed over them. Because then it's parody.
That's actually probably legit.
Because then it's parody,
That's
right?
probably legit. Well, you can use, I want to say it's like 20 seconds. So like that Walter White from a few episodes ago. You can't get struck for that because it's not a long enough, even though it's like an image, you don't need a license for it because it's like less than 20 seconds long or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
And
mean?
anything that's considered...
Now, if you played that entire scene, you could
Right.
get a strike for
But
that.
anything that's considered parody, like that's why Weird Al can do everything he did for...
I mean, he did go ask most of those people.
True, but he could have
And at
just
first, a
done
lot of people said no.
it. Right, but he could have just done it because it was parody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Like, he didn't have to get permission. He did anyway.
yeah.
Like,
I always liked his polkas where he would like mash up. He'd play.
His
He was like
polka
a.
mashups,
It's like
yeah.
old school
Polka Your Eyes Out was one of them.
Mashup DJs.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like folky too. It's kind of like I feel like there's like an accordion or something, or like
Accordion.
maybe piano. I don't know.
What are we doing with our lives?
I don't know, man.
Well, you know what I can appreciate? When I arrived here, you were looking a little sad and dead to the world, and now you
I
are
was tired.
you are brightened up and smiling.
Yeah.
Got some life in your eyes. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that this could do that for you.
Yeah.
How fantastic.
Way she goes.
All right, Bubbles.
Julian.
I almost went to see their live show, and I kind of regret not doing it.
I don't know that I would go see them live. I have a certain picture in my mind, and it's them in the show. And seeing them live, I feel like
Have you watched any of their live stuff?
no.
Oh, it's pretty funny. Yeah, it's more like a sketch show than it is like, you know what I mean?
Kind of like Monty Python's live stuff.
Yeah, where they do like some of their same bits, and like Bubbles will sing, and like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's yeah, that's actually a really fairly good analogy. You know what I mean? It's not just them like sitting around pretending to be them. It's like them talking about what it's like to pretend to be them, and then, you know, doing bits. So
I could probably get down with it then.
yeah, I don't know.
As long as it's not just like them trying to just be in character the whole time, you know, like, because that doesn't translate as well.
No.
I don't think.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I would have had the same thought if I thought that it was going to be like that. But I've seen
Because I've seen other shows try to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like that just doesn't.
Yeah.
You can't cross that fourth wall into the stage
Yeah.
and hope that it works the same way as it does.
The fourth wall, you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to pretend like nobody's watching.
Because we know nobody is.
Oh, snap.
Got him!
I mean, some people do. I haven't looked at the numbers.
No, I know.
I stop.
They do.
Like I assume that we are steady at like 4 or 5 a week.
I don't know.
I bet you do.
I honestly don't. I haven't checked it in a while.
I mean,
It stays pretty consistent, though. I think.
yeah. Well, I mean, we know for a fact your partner's parents, or at least her mother, watches us because
Yeah.
because I mean, your partner tells me about it.
Yeah.
I know my mom was for a while. I don't know if she still is. I don't know. I know that like every once in a while, somebody who's in the treatment center we go into,
Yeah.
they'll be like, oh, you guys have a podcast, and you know, so once a month,
Yep.
a new person will like run through all of them in there, which is cool. It's kind of funny,
Yeah.
to me. Yeah, like homeboy last week was like, oh my god, I didn't know that you guys had a podcast. It's on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, it sure is. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure the information's all up on the board, actually.
Yeah.
We just don't like, you know, straight up promote it to
Right.
you guys, like, because this is an NA meeting.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know?
it's
Like attraction rather than promotion, my friend.
yeah. That's not why we come in here.
Yeah. If you want to watch it, you know, sure. But he's like, yeah, I'm going to make everybody watch it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure, you know, there are a number of people who already have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, that's fine.
I mean, cool, but thanks, I guess.
I think it's funny that old dude, like is like bitching about his license situation, knowing that he's there by himself.
Yep.
And I was like, I feel the same way, homie.
Yeah.
I didn't want to call him out in front of the entire group, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But it's that's very much the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
Is that a racist saying? It just dawned on me that it might be.
No.
Because cast iron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Let us know in the comments down below. Or Business Daddy, you could pay attention to us too.
Yeah.
Chuck us a bone in the algorithm.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it now.
Do it. Do it. Give us $30 extra a month of passive income, please. Please, YouTube. No. It's interesting that it's kind of one of those things where people are on YouTube forever, and then like after a couple of years, like just one video will somehow get promoted by the algorithm for whatever reason. But then the people who like watched your stuff and enjoyed it go back and watch everything. So all of a sudden you go from like having like whatever you're 1 or 2 or 5 or like whatever we get like 5 to 10 hours a week to like bam 1,000 hours a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like a bunch of people go back and watch a bunch of your stuff, and I think it's interesting that that's kind of like how you can see spots in people's channels where the switch flipped.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Where it was like it went from this is something that they do because they're passionate about it and they enjoy doing it to like this has become my job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the production goes up.
Yeah.
Like the lighting all changes, the cameras get better, like it's just like, you know what I mean? They've got a fresh haircut every time. You know what I mean?
Well, that ain't us.
They shaved or whatever. Yeah, it's definitely not gonna be us. I mean, even if it did, I'm still not gonna bathe more than once or twice a week. I just don't have it in me.
Yeah.
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 Oh, I forgot. I got a book from my psychology professor. I asked her if I could buy it off of her because she was passing it around the class, and I am drawing a blank. I may have taken a picture of it so that I could buy it later. Let me see if I took a picture of it. But I'm really interested to read it. Probably not going to start on it tonight. Let's see here. Did I? I did. Yeah. An Unquiet Mind. And I read the intro, and she's talking about like running circles in a parking lot at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and the cops showing up and trying to explain herself, having drank too much, and is just like having a complete manic episode in a parking lot. And I'm like, I have lived that. And then talking about the depression and the, the like, oh my God, I want to die. And I was like, hey, I'm like, this woman has described my entire adult life in the first 2 pages of her book. I kind of want to read the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I asked my professor, and she's like, oh, I've got another copy of that. It is a really good book. I should read it. You can just have it. I'm like, really? Now I have to read it.
Yeah. Did you ever get through the other one?
I didn't.
That's fine. It'll happen when it should.
Yeah.
It's good, though. You'll like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta not think about it. Because then I'll start getting like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what will happen.
Yeah.
I need to start setting the alarm so that I read at least 2 pages a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I should start doing.
Habit stacking.
I bet your atomicness would love that habit. If you made it this far, go ahead and throw a like on the video.
Do it.
If you haven't done it already,
now.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
So I say do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Sun-dried tomatoes. The Bird Witch was one of the finest early episodes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
It was.
What do you mean you didn't eat the sun-dried tomatoes? Ick! Ugh!
Gentlemen.
The sandwich cannot be disassembled.
It's just me, sir.
My ass has finally decided to eat my hand. It hungers for more. That's the best one of those intros. And he just like sucks up into his man. All right. Well, if you're listening to this in audio format, go ahead and throw a review on there. It does matter a lot. It helps us get in front of more ears. Comment down below. What your favorite movie to quote is. Let me know if you forget to turn your phone to silent when you do important things like film yourself for like an hour and a half a week and you can't be bothered enough to turn your phone off. Yeah, anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Helmet, what's going on? Sanders, what's going on? It's Megamaid. She's gone from suck to blow. What?